So the day has finally come when iPhone lets you directly play the emulators on its OS system without any side-loading fixes. Delta Emulator is an app that allows you to play classic video games from retro consoles like NES, SNES, Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo DS right on your iPhone. With its recent release on the iOS App Store, it's now easier than ever to get started with this powerful emulator. In this comprehensive guide, we'll walk you through everything you need to know to set up Delta Emulator and start playing your favorite retro games on the go. This is not a 24-minute video that talks about how to play a damn retro game on iPhone. It's a quick tutorial. Let's go. Installing Delta Emulator. To get started, simply search for Delta Game Emulator on the App Store. The app should be the first result that pops up. Tap Get to download and install Delta Emulator on your iPhone. The app is completely free, with no ads or in-app purchases. Importing ROMs. Once you have Delta Emulator installed, open the app. You'll see a clean and intuitive interface with separate tabs for each supported console at the bottom of the screen. To add games, tap the plus button in the top right corner. From the menu that appears, select Files. This will open up the iOS Files app, where you can navigate to the location of your ROM files. Delta Emulator supports a variety of file formats for each console. For NES, .NES, .NEZ, .FC, .FDS, for SNES, .SNES, .SFC, .SMC, .FIG, for N64, .N64, .Z64, .V64, .NDD for Game Boy, .GB for Game Boy Color, .GBC, .SGB for Game Boy Advance, .GBA, .SRL for Nintendo DS, .NDS, .DSi, .SRL. If your ROM files are in a zip archive, you can import them directly without extracting. Simply navigate to the zip file in the Files app and select it. You can import multiple ROMs at once by tapping on each file you want to add. Once you've selected all the ROMs you want to import, tap Open in the top right corner. The games will be added to their respective console tabs in Delta Emulator. Customizing game artwork. After importing a game, you'll see its original box art displayed. If you want to change the artwork, tap and hold on the game until a menu pops up. Select Change Artwork to search Delta's extensive library of custom box arts by entering the game's name. Playing games. To start playing a game, simply tap on it from the main menu. Delta will load the game and display on-screen controls overlaid on the game screen. The controls are customizable, so you can reposition buttons and enable additional features like fast forward and sustain buttons from the in-game menu. Save states. One of Delta Emulator's most useful features is the ability to save and load states. To create a save state, tap the menu button while in a game and select Save State. You can create multiple save states and name them for easy reference. To load a save state, tap the menu button and select Load State. Choose the save state you want to resume from the list. You can also quick load the most recent state by long pressing on a game from the main menu and selecting Load State. Save states are great for picking up where you left off without having to remember passwords or rely on in-game saves. They're also useful for practicing difficult sections of games, as you can save your progress and reload if you make a mistake. Cheat codes. Delta Emulator supports a variety of cheat code formats, including Action Replay, Game Shark, and Codebreaker. To enter cheat codes, tap the menu button while playing a game and select Cheat Codes. From the Cheat Codes menu, tap the plus button to add a new code. Select the code type, enter a name for the cheat, and input the code itself. You can find cheat codes for many popular games on sites like Super Cheats. Once you've added a cheat code, you can toggle it on and off from the Cheat Codes menu. Some codes may require you to enter a button combination to activate their effects in-game. Fast forward and sustain buttons. Delta Emulator includes a couple of useful features for speeding up gameplay. The fast forward button, accessible from the in-game menu, allows you to speed up the game to breeze through slow or repetitive sections. The sustain button feature lets you assign a button to act as if it's being held down continuously, which is handy for grinding levels or navigating through dialogue quickly. To set up a sustain button, tap the menu button while in a game and select Sustain Button. Then choose which button you want to automate. Customizing skins. In addition to tweaking the on-screen controls, you can also download custom skins to change Delta Emulator's appearance. There are two main repositories for Delta skins. To install a skin, download it from one of those sites and then tap the plus button in the top right corner of Delta Emulator. Select the downloaded skin file to apply it. You can set separate skins for portrait and landscape orientations. Troubleshooting. If you run into any issues while using Delta Emulator, here are a few troubleshooting tips. If a game isn't importing, make sure its file extension matches one of the supported formats for that console. You may need to rename the file. For Nintendo DS games, you'll need to provide your own BIOS files. Place the files in Delta's Documents directory and make sure they're named correctly. Some cheat codes may not work with certain ROM versions. Try using a different version of the game, or check that you're entering the code correctly. If you're having trouble importing ROMs via the Files app, you can also use iTunes file sharing. Connect your iPhone to your computer, open iTunes, and navigate to your device. In the file sharing section, select Delta and drag your ROMs into the Documents window. Delta Emulator is a fantastic way to enjoy classic games on your iPhone. With its intuitive interface, robust feature set, and extensive customization options, it's the perfect companion for retro gaming enthusiasts. By following this guide, you should have no trouble getting Delta Emulator up and running on your device. The ease of importing ROMs, creating save states, and applying cheat codes makes it a breeze to dive into your favorite games from yesteryear. As Delta Emulator continues to be updated with new features and support for additional consoles, it's sure to become an indispensable app for anyone looking to relive the glory days of gaming. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and give Delta Emulator a try. Your childhood favorites are waiting. This brings us to the end of the video. If you liked what you see here, drop a subs for us. Have a good, and we will see you soon in the next one.